You knew you were good at it.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like,
and music in general, just knowing music and creating music.
That, yeah, definitely that. But actually, like, having the confidence of like the stuff that I was creating was good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, even to a certain point, like, I'm still not even all the way there now. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain days, like certain times, and like when I'm in the studio, I might be like, yo, this is like, when I recorded It's Okay, and when I recorded Dear Mary Jane, like I recorded those like back to back. I might have been, I don't remember if it was the same day, but it was definitely one day after another. And like, I was like, yo, these are super fire. These are the ones, I put them out, people like them, everything. Like, but if you catch me on a certain day, I might listen to them songs and like, I don't even want to hear them, because it's like, yo, this is trash. Like, this is great. You know what I mean? Like, it's something about that artist's mind that like, you kind of, there's like a block. I mean, at least for me, because like, you know, there's other ones like the one right now that's going off again, Kanye, you know, just back on his, you know, Kanye stuff. But you know, you can't tell that guy nothing. He'll give you a snippet and tell you you even heard it.
Though, in some sense of it, I since I've been on this podcast, I haven't enjoyed listening to him as much.
Why do you think that? What coincide? Like, is it something that coincides?
I just don't like hearing myself talk. I don't like hearing myself talk. And remember, I had a podcast for a whole year, so it's nothing new. And that was just that. I probably had.
My bad. Start over. What did you say originally? Because I think I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about Kanye.
Oh no! You sometimes you don't like listening to the songs you've made. Mm-hmm. I do not like listening to our podcast since I've been on it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you used to listen to it when it was just me and Quincy.
Yeah, when you and Quincy. Like, I still listen because I have to, but I don't enjoy it as much. I don't like hearing myself talk. Yep. I never did.
And then the crazy thing is, like, people like hearing you. You know what I'm saying? And they could tell you that 100 times, but something in your mind is still gonna tell you, my voice is
everywhere, even work meetings, dude, with everywhere. And I don't care. It doesn't change. I just still don't like listening to myself talk.
That's crazy, because you definitely wouldn't be on here if you had a crazy voice. I'll tell you that one. I would have been
but it's just like, but that doesn't stop me from doing what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just, and then something like I know this since I've gotten closer to you. I'll sing your songs and you don't really enjoy it. You don't really care for me saying it. You always like twist it into a joke. I'm like, bro, that's just fire. Sing that shit. I want to hear it on the comms while we're playing Call of Duty.
It's funny, man. Like I said, like the way like my mind works when it comes to that, it's like really, and it goes back again to the passion, bro. Like, just, I love it so much, and I'm trying so hard to just like, my goal with the music, bro, I just want to make one timeless classic, bro. If I make more than one, that would be great. But like, that's what I'm after. Just something that is always just gonna sound good, no matter what, no matter what year it is, no matter what time it is. You know, people could get into it. People are gonna want to remake it. You know what I mean? But it's like, if you really, really ask me, I wouldn't think that I had the talent to do that myself. You know what I mean? But as I keep working through it and getting better, and my voice gets better, and you know, I'm doing things different ways and stuff, like that confidence builds. Like, I know I'm doing the right thing just from the point of view of like, I already have references of people liking what I do in certain ways that I do it. So it's like I'm operating from a more knowledgeable place. But it's just so funny because with music, it kind of even goes to the confidence and wisdom thing. Like, a lot of times the thing that takes off is the thing you wasn't expecting. You know what I mean? Like, the ones that I'm like, yo, these are the ones, they might like the one that is the one that I'm not confident about.
Yeah, and that's what I want to, talking back to Quincy, like, you got the confidence you can do it, but are you just focused on doing it, like trying to get that sound? How do you see that?
I think it's weird because I've been rapping and doing music since I was 14, 13 years old. But I'm 31, you know what I'm saying? So like, it's weird because obviously in 17, 18 years, I've definitely taken breaks. You know what I'm saying? I've had real life situations put me on pause for a minute or whatever. I think this is the first time in my life that I've come back to music, and I feel like
intimidating.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
get out. I got you, bro. Because I have the same thing, but it's with basketball. I've been playing ball since I was so young. I've always been able to just, whenever somebody says you're trying to play, oh, I'll play, you know what I mean? And just come and just go crazy. And it's like, you know, it never mattered. Now, I'm intimidated to go play ball. Like, I want to go and get my shots up and stuff, because I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to make myself look like a fool out here. You know what I mean? And I'm intimidated to get in the zone, like, you know, to go and have those like bad games and stuff, because it's like, I just remember how it was before. You know what I mean? Like, I could get whatever shot I wanted. I was smooth, and it's like, dang, man, like, that's long gone. And it could be there still, but I'm like, obviously it's basketball, so it's not that important to me. And I'm not gonna get nothing at the end of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you know, I know that if I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go a couple times a week, I know I'll get back to that.
Yeah.
No, but it's the same shit me with DJing. It's not like I'm gonna work to be a professional DJ in my life, you know. But I'm intimidated by how talented DJs are now, and how many more resources and tools you got. But I'm not gonna let that stop me from fucking doing something that I love doing, that I think I'm good at, and just getting back to that point. But yeah, definitely intimidating, bro. Like, I had to do a party. The only party I done was my father-in-law's 70th birthday. That was back October. But like, whenever we're hanging out, I'm the guy with the playlist. Like, whenever it's time to turn up, Joe, put the playlist on. You know what I mean? So I've curated the music my whole life. I've always been in charge of it. My boy Den too, but for the most part, like, I've always been in charge and make sure we got the music.
The vibe.
And make sure, you know what I mean? And that's why, like, I know I can do this. I've been doing this my whole life. I just got to learn the tools of the trade and the new game and how it is now, since I've been not doing it. And so it definitely, I feel intimidated. That's the thing. It could be something simple as basketball, but getting back into rapping, getting back into DJing, like, it's the same feelings and sentiments, and like, everybody goes through it, but you can't let that stop you.
But I'm gonna be real. I think that, like, everybody has their thing that they're in, you know, they want to do, but they're intimidated to do. And I think it's dope. And I think this is a good example of, like, being able to have those conversations with your friends. Like, if you have friends around you that you can't have these kind of conversations with, you might need to reevaluate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
we don't all gotta be talking about the same topic to relate.
Right. Like, obviously, like, you know what I'm saying, we're doing this more on a public scale just because this is kind of what we do now. But at the same time, like, we were talking about these things hours ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, definitely, like, you know, obviously to the audience, man, you know, reevaluate, you know, who you kind of invest in your time in, because I'm sure everybody has their things that they're intimidated by. And if you can't talk to the closest people to you about it because they're going to judge you, or they're going to make you feel like a weird way about it, you know what I'm saying? Reevaluate that, because, you know, you want, you know, some people in your circle that's going to really push you to continue doing the things that are uncomfortable. Because I could have told Les and Joe that earlier, and they could have told me some things back that made me like, damn, yo, yeah, maybe this, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But that's not what was said.
They're not even like, responded, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole different vibe. So, you know, I just wanted to acknowledge that real quick.
Facts. No, that's facts. And honestly, that kind of leads really good into the vinyl picks we got this week. Yeah, hear me? We haven't done that in a little minute. We're definitely gonna get back on the little segments and stuff. You know, we're trying to make it so this thing is not so regimented that it's a boring listen, but still have certain elements that are always gonna be in there. And, you know, when it presents itself, we could do it. So, who would like to go first with their record? That, and with their story, what it means to them.
My dog Joe with the interception.
All right, so being a Lester,
of course, NAS are the letters that spell. As soon as I seen them three letters, I knew.
Yo, you know what's funny? Go ahead. No. This is your time. I'm gonna respond with what I was about to say. Go ahead. This is your time. Go ahead.
So Lester went off on this tangent about Nas, and sometimes Lester likes different songs than I do, just because he has a crazier ear than I do. So I always expect him to like see like Frank Sinatra vibes on this random ass track that he loves that I never knew existed. But he put like all my favorite tracks. I'm like, damn, we have all the same favorite song. So even though I'm a Hovenger still to this day, one of my favorite vinyls ever, Nas, Street Dreams single.
Yeah.
So it had the Street Dreams album version, the bonus verse. Y'all know about if you know about this track, you know the bonus verse and the instrumental. And on the other side, Affirmative Action. Ooh. The remix with Foxy, everybody on it, and the instrumental. So that boom, 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 boom. Yo, I used to mix that with every acapella I had. And then just Street Dreams, I would start at boom, 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 boom. That was like my main intro mix. Boom, 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 boom. Run it back. Boom, 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 boom.
You were washing money in this laundromat.
Hey, got the suitcase up in the center. No, that's the wrong one. But yeah, one of my favorite Nas, probably top five tracks.
So what of that vibe stands out to you? Like, do you see something in your head when you listen to those? Like, you know what I'm saying? Musically,
every single time I hear Street Dreams, I'm in a convertible outside like some random gas station in the desert, like puffing a cigar in a white suit and chilling, and just like there's no plans, and it's whatever I want in life.
So, question, was this image in your head like from when you heard that song, like always?
Always, yeah.
So you live in Las Vegas, Nevada now, Joe. Is that kind
of? I do live in the desert. I never really put that together. And I'm really there's no plans. I'm just riding it out.
That's dope.
Hey,
yeah, bro.
You know, in your near future, you got to get in a convertible and a white suit and hit a gas.
You got to, right? You got to.
Say the fuck less.
You got to.
Hey, that's the next date night idea right there, bro. I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but running a nice little drop top.
I already know exactly what gas station. We actually been to a gas station in the middle of the desert with the same scenery that I'm always picturing in my head.
There it is.
We stopped there to take a piss. Like I know exactly. It's on the border of Arizona. Yeah, it's crazy.
My God.
Crazy visions right now.
Yo. So I'm gonna be real. I gotta follow up Joe.
Perfect. I wanted you to.
The reason why is because what I was gonna say, and I didn't want to take it away from you. The reason, so I had another album that I was gonna pick, but I didn't. And what that album was, I have the Nas Illmatic album, but not the original Illmatic, the 10-year anniversary where he performed it live. So I had that on vinyl.
Big.
Yeah, I have that on vinyl. So I was gonna grab that one, but instead of that one, I'm a Hovenger as well.
I almost grabbed the whole album, not gonna lie.
Yo, so this is the Jay-Z 444 album.
Avengers.
Yeah. And this album, dog, man, like I'm gonna be real. Like, first off, for me, the timing of this album was like impeccable for me in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like every song on that album I related to in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously with the story of OJ coming out around that time, then going all the way to Family Feud, Marcy Me, I'm sorry, Smile, like all these different records that he had on this album. And the thing about this album, bruh, is that this was the first album where he was super vulnerable. And like, you know, I feel like I pride myself on how I make music and being vulnerable. So like, I really enjoyed that about this album because, you know, it made him, in my opinion, human, you know? But yeah, man, so that's my counter to Nas, bro.
That is a classic. As a classic album for me, which is not favorited by most Jay-Z fans, surprisingly. I don't know if y'all agree with that.
Yeah, I've heard. No, yeah, it's one of my favorites.
So same question to you, Quincy, about like the song and the vibe and stuff. Like, is there a certain song or a vibe or a feeling that you get from, like something that stands out on the album?
Man, I feel like that album was literally the epitome of a black man that made it in America, that doesn't forget where he came from and realizes that he's still human. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like certain songs, man, where he talked about his mom being, either gay or bisexual. I can't recall exactly what it is, but basically liking women and having to, adjust to that. Like, those are the kind of things that as a man, bro, you have to be human to be able to not only speak about, but recognize and show pride in, and I think with this album, man, like the vulnerability of it really just resonated with me. And it was obviously at a vulnerable time for me. I think the album dropped, when did this album drop? 2017? That was around the time where I was literally in transition of moving back to Orlando, where I was going through a very vulnerable time. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a dope album.
You know why he named it 444?
Yeah, you told me. I think you said it on one of these episodes that somebody got to tap back into. Yeah.
But so one thing I was gonna say, it was that's the time when he woke up at that time in the morning, looked at the clock, and that's what time it was, and that's when he wrote that track.
Yep.
The title track.
Yeah, 440. No, but one thing I was gonna say, and this is something that Lester touches on a lot. If you're gonna create and you're gonna put yourself into something, you gotta have that vulnerability. You can't, like he says, handhold everything and hold back and be afraid. Because that leaves the authenticity out of it.
Fact.
And the more genuine it is, the less, like I tell you, like I try to focus on the less repetitive of what everybody else would say. Sometimes like you watch these sports interviews and they ask them how was the game, they have a script. Everybody has a script. You hear that script enough, you can predict what someone's gonna say. And I listen to podcasts, and like as I tell Lester, what we called it, turn off triggers. But yeah, it's just like if it sounds like a script or not authentic, I don't like it. And then what Jay did on that album was something he's never done, and just like let everything out about everything, about everybody. And that's untapping a different level of artistry right there for sure.
Oh yeah.
You're on mute, Lester.
My bad. So I was saying that I wanted to go last, actually, so it worked out perfect because it kind of brings it all back together. Because this album is actually part of the reason why I have that lack of confidence in my music, because I hear something like this and my head works both ways, in the sense that I think to myself, there's no way I'm doing something like this. And then at the same time, I'm trying to do something like that and have people feel that same way they feel when they hear that record. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like the not confidence and the confidence kind of like balancing itself out. You know what I mean? But this is the album right here.
With the Vandross.
The boy.
The boy.
And most notably on this album,
I was gonna say what tracks are on there.
Depending on who you ask, though, because it never too much is on here also. But this has A House Is Not a Home. A House Is Not a Home. A House Is Not a Home by Luther Vandross. If you haven't heard it, go listen to either the regular song or the live performance version that's on YouTube. That's like a longer version that he sung so effortlessly and maybe even better than the actual recording. But you listen to that song, the way he sung it, the way it was written, the way it was produced, the way it builds, the way you don't want it to end and it just keeps changing and getting better somehow. That song is like, to me, it's just like one of those records that's literally magical. You know what I mean? Like there's certain artists, certain records, certain songs. There's just some things just have magic in them, and that A House Is Not a Home to me just has magic in it.
Oh, good 2 words you used there. You said to me, Is that something you would ever expect anybody to feel the exact same way you feel about it?
So shout out to my wife, matter of fact, because she's actually the one a long time ago that really put me on to like, hey, you know, everybody's not you. It's something so stupid and simple, but the way she said it just made sense to me. You know what I mean? And before, it would have been something where I'm like low-key frustrated. Like, how do you not hear these lyrics in this song and the way he's singing and understand that this is one of the greatest songs of all time? You know what I mean? But now I know that it hits people different ways, and even the fact that it might just not hit you at the right time.
Yeah, and that's why I do not. And maybe this is probably the latter part of my life. There's certain people I don't talk music with because I give you my straight, honest opinion of how it made me feel, and what you tell me is, oh yeah, but you listen to so and so. Oh, but you listen to shit like this. So what does that matter? I still feel the same way I feel about that song and that artist or that track. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not gonna move everybody, but as long as it moves you, that's all that matters.
Facts. And it's definitely you know, I like to tease it, you know what I mean? But it's definitely like you said, like things hit people different ways, and I definitely have that thing in me where it's like, damn, bro, I want people to hear this and hear it the way I want to hear. Like that's my primal thought, you know what I mean? Like, you know, dang, why doesn't it hit you the way it hits me? But like I said, I know what it is, and I feel that way about Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like he's dope, but he don't resonate with me like when people, you know, classic Jay-Z records. Like to me, his best album is the Black Album, and people think I'm crazy for that. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I like that, and I like the newer Jay-Z more than the old Jay-Z, and people think I'm crazy for that too. You know?
But that's why, like, I respect your ear of music. And like when you guys were talking all that John Mayer stuff and y'all loved that, I listened to it, I was like, nah, and that's was like, I hate you. And you know, it's that simple. It's like, damn. But I took a time, but I respect y'all's ears, so I was like, let me take a chance and actually listen to this song. I was like, yeah, I don't know, it's something that I don't enjoy listening to. Not that it's bad music, it's not something I enjoy listening to.
And that's such a like crazy dynamic too. Like when you that's why I like to send people music and not play it for them in the moment. You know, that feeling of like when you play something for somebody and they just don't feel it at all. It's like, no way. You know what I'm saying?
Pause. Did you hear what he said?
Exactly. Like, oh no, let me bring it back. Like, no, bro, he heard it the first time. It just
in the key. You did the addition.
Yeah.
Let's get it. I was moving birds like an Oreo fitted. I'm Cal Ripken Jr. Let's get it. Come on, let's do it.
And it's just like, man, but that's the dope thing about music too. Like that's something that again, tie into what you're saying. Like, I don't even understand how some people don't listen to music, period. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what? But some people just don't. It just doesn't mean anything to them.
Music's not a part of their lives. Yeah, that's how I kind of put it. Music's not a part of their lives.
Yep. And again, and that even ties back, like, just to bring it all full circle, is like the social media thing too, you know, like you can't really get too fixated on how everybody else is living, and you can't worry about how people perceive the way you're living, you know what I'm saying? As long as you're not doing anybody any harm and you're striving to get better, whatever your better is, that's all that matters, and people just gotta respect it, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna listen to something because everybody's listening. I'm not gonna watch something because everybody's watching. Like, I love Game of Thrones. I haven't watched that shit yet. I love Lord of the Rings. I haven't watched that shit yet. And everybody's watching and I'm missing out, but I'm like, nah, I'm focused on what I'm focused on now. Like, I'm back. Like, if I go back to that just because everybody else is doing it, it's taking time away from what I really want to do for myself. Because what I enjoy, like listening to podcasts, making playlists, listening to music, like you just getting that creativity in me from different outlets. Like that's all I want to do right now.
Yeah, and that's even like not putting importance to just being in the know, you know what I mean? Like not just wanting to be in the loop. Because not to say that a lot of that stuff ain't good. Like, for example, like you brought up Game of Thrones. I didn't watch it till like maybe last year or something. It was super dope though. I enjoyed it. enjoyed it so much. It was as good as everybody said it was to me.
I would say right now, and I'm gonna clip this. You never watched Stranger Things, and that's crazy. I've never met anybody in my immediate life that has not watched Stranger Things.
Crazy. Me and my wife tried again to watch it, like in the first season, and couldn't get through the first season. I think we're just gonna try to watch like 2. I don't know, because that's another thing. Me and my wife are taking the kids up to see Quincy, and we're gonna go to the Stranger Things experience up there in Atlanta.
Oh, that's what's up.
So like, you know, we're gonna go and have that experience. So I kind of want to be up on it too, but it's just
you definitely got to watch it.
You know what I mean?
Like, you gotta watch it.
It's like you know.
Mostly,
I'm not gonna.
like, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's very, you know what I'm saying, you gotta have an open, like, childlike mind, because it's not really for adults, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really not. But at the same time, if you can kind of open your mind a little bit to it and just really put yourself back into a teenage, you know what I'm saying, mentality, it's dope. It's really cool. Like, I feel like the teenagers that got to experience that's gonna be something that when they're 30 and our age, like, they're gonna be talking to their kids like, you don't know about Stranger Things. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's dope. Like the way we talk about what we talk about, you know, Dragon Ball Z, whatever. But you know, yeah, like he said, he's coming up here for the experience. I'm tapped into Stranger Things, but my fiance's not. I told her she got to get up on it as well.
Yeah, no, but so what I want to ask Lester is the main reason you want to do that is because it's so popular, and it's like you want to see why. Like, what's gonna keep you making you want to try to watch or go into the experience? Is it just?
Well, the reason
that's for the kids.
Yeah, that's my daughters love Stranger Things.
Oh, they love it. Okay, yeah. So
yeah, following that Stranger Things experience thing, like on TikTok.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
All the time. You know what I mean? It's definitely for the kids because they both love Stranger Things.
No, that's what's up. Well, I'm a kid too, bro. We love Stranger Things. Nah, but for me, it was the whole 80s vibe. Like, that's my old ass was born in 84. So, like, seeing the same, like, atmosphere and the way they dress and the way they did shit takes me back to that time. The music, like, the houses they lived in, like, the houses we used to live in was all, like, wood panels. And it's just, like, it takes me back to a certain time where everything was cool, and it allows me to enjoy that show a little more, you know?
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe I just gotta power through too, but like even that is like always a turn off for me with a show too. Like if somebody tells me, "Oh, you gotta power through the first season or whatever," it's like, bro, this is supposed.
That's how I am with Ozark, and there's not a person who told me that show's not good, and I want to watch it because if everybody's saying it has to be that good, so that's influencing me to want to watch that shit.
So check this out. This is my theory, and maybe this is what's happening to you. Because I powered through Ozark. I think the thing with Ozark is it takes so long in the first, like you get towards the end of the first season before you even realize why you have to like any of the characters. Yep. Like the characters are so unlikable in the first like 3/4 of the season that you're like, bro, I'm not rooting for anybody here. I don't care what happens to these people. They're just terrible people. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the first season, it starts taking shape and you start getting more backstory on them and like realizing like why they're in the positions that they're in and stuff like that. And then you start getting behind the characters and then you enjoy it more.
That character development.
Exactly. Yeah. That's my theory is like, for example, like a great show, like for example, Breaking Bad, that from the first episode, like when I watched Breaking Bad, the first episode, I was like, there's no way this show is going to be this good the whole time.
And it was good the whole time.
But they had they established the character early. The situations he was in was crazy, and they kept having those situations. They kept it going, and it built. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fan of the tough it out kind of shows or let it build. You know, I'll watch them sometimes. You know, if I've watched already everything that I've watched and I just want to get into something new, I will do the power through type thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's very rare. Like I don't do it. You know, it takes it takes me a long time to even just watch good shows that are good from the beginning. Yeah. So the ones that you got to power through is even worse for me.
Yeah.
And I don't like watching shows when they're like out. You know what I mean? Like I want the show to be done. Like
so you can just binge it.
Yeah, I can't do the waiting week to week thing. Like it's just like
no.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that Ozark is like and the reason why I love Ozark so much is because like when they start, I'm not gonna give anything away just for anybody listening, and I'm not gonna talk anything about the show specifically, just in a very general sense. Ozark is like, you're seeing people make decisions that like start out so innocent and just build up to get them in these crazy situations. And you're seeing like, wow, man, people really just like be too scared in one moment to be honest or be firm or whatever the case is.
Mhm.
But the consequence that comes behind it is so much more
That's like,
grand.
but you know, I want to tap into that real quick. You bring back, it's like that character development thing, and that taps into real life. You know, every single movie or show you watch, it's about the characters either gonna have a rise and or a downfall or both. You know what I mean? And that's life, and that's every decision you make is gonna either get you to a rise or get you to a downfall. And like the person you become and go through all that shit changes you. And I think that's where you gain confidence in certain areas, and that's where you gain wisdom. But like, what was it Shaq on Drink Champs? He said what MJ told him in person before it was even published. Before you succeed, you have to learn how to fail. You know, people who don't have those failures, those one-hit wonders, those overnight sensations that don't go through the failures, they don't have that sense of keeping them going, because, you know, you only know success. And I think that shit plays into your character development. And that's why I think like shows draw your attention when you see that kind of shit like that. Like you see a person grow through the show. And that's how, honestly, something I told my niece about, like with Stranger Things. Like you see, and it took to like the last episode for this one character to realize something about himself. And it's great. It took all that shit, all those seasons, all that shit to happen for him to realize something about himself. And that's that character development, man. Yeah, that's what I feel it comes down to.
And it's so crazy because everything is like so cyclical that like, and everything is so relatable to everything else. Because even from the point of view of the podcast, like we had to kind of go through that first season and establish the characters and everything to kind of get to the point where we're at now, where everything's flowing so good. And like life always has all those kind of elements in it in every situation. You know what I mean? And I feel like something that's like a big test to people, and just a test in life in general, is there's little situations that happen that you know what you have to do, but you don't do it or you avoid it because you feel like it's not going to take you much effort to avoid it. You got to do those things. You know what I mean? It goes back to the nuance thing. Like a lot of people think these little situations don't mean anything, but they're a sign of a larger thing. And if you kind of let it linger, it grows, it festers, and then it becomes something that's harder to extinguish later on. You know what I mean? Like that's something that I'm real big on in life. And that kind of like brings me to like why I feel like I don't have any problems. Like I don't have any fabricated problems in my life, because I nip everything in the bud so fast that the only thing that could affect my day-to-day is something serious. You know what I mean? Like anything else is.
But at the same time, it's definitely what you've been through that have gotten you there.
Oh no, facts. That experience.
Man, so people without that kind of experience don't get there, and that early in life. That's why I respect so much about y'all too.
And that goes to exactly what you said about Shaq. You got to learn how to fail. How did I learn how to fail? Like I didn't choose it, you know what I'm saying? But I had to learn, and I had to go through that so that when my life kind of reset, I knew the things that I should do, shouldn't do, you know what I mean? I felt like, honestly, bro, like I feel like one of the biggest advantages I've had in life is like, I've seen so many people at their ugliest that I've seen like that primal kind of instinct that everybody has, and what people are really thinking, like when their back's against the wall and they don't got nothing, you know, they don't have nothing to live for even, that it's like, I feel like that insight is what has kind of like led me to be very good at reading people and kind of seeing, and that goes back to the nuance, bro. There's so many little things that people do and say that will let you know how they're gonna act or treat you or whatever the case is, you know what I mean? And I pay attention to that.
Side note, my wife and I met on Twitter pretty much years ago, right? And this is what I appreciate about Twitter over any social media network. Twitter is strictly your thoughts.
Yeah.
You're just speaking your thoughts, right? And you can read people's thoughts and you know exactly what kind of person they are. So that's that. I've read everything she wrote, and it's something that I would write myself. And that's when I was like, yeah, like you just like Lester said, like that people can say something, and you know exactly what kind of person they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. You gotta listen, and literally, I'm big on, and y'all know, the reason I say y'all know is so people know that I'm not just talking just to say it, but like whenever I meet people, bro, I don't say anything for a long time. Like I'm very silent. I won't even give you a joke, nothing. Like I'm listening to what you're saying first to see if it's even worth it for me to open my mouth and get to that point with you. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it from the point of view of I feel like I'm better than anybody, but everybody should feel that way. You should be looking for people that fit your mold, fit what you're trying to do. As long as you're doing it the right way, you got to find people that are on that vibe. And even somebody that is a good person might not be the good person for you. And that's even something that people got to pick up on. Like, dang, he's super dope and he does a lot of the stuff and this and that, but the path he's on and the type of stuff he's doing is better suited for somebody else.
And that can tie you back to 100 of our episodes where we talk about core values, or we talk about the shit we believe in, the kind of same, we don't have to have the same interests, but we have to have the same understanding. And then if you're good enough to recognize that of somebody that you're not gonna, that's like, this is not the energy I want, don't feed into it. And there's no reason you need to. You don't owe nobody anything. That's it.
And people take it so personal when you don't want to energy with them. It's so crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I understand why that might be the initial feeling and thought, but at the same time, bro, nobody owes you their presence. You know what I mean? Yo, another thing I wanted to say that I didn't want to get distracted by it, but it's just so dope. That bottle, like, what is that? Because that thing is super dope, dog.
Facts. I saw it.
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
It's a decanter. So you put like a whiskey in there.
The bottle ain't come like that. You just bought that bottle.
I thought that was like.
Yeah, no. I fill it up. Yeah.
Nice. That's a nice one though.
Like, it kind of just continues to age the whiskey, like if it was still in the barrel.
That's dope.
It just gives you a fresh.
Is that like a globe supposed to be? Like a globe? That's dope.
Yeah. So we got there's a whole bunch of different kinds. So this is a globe, and we actually have the cups that are the globes too. But I didn't want to break them, so I can bring them in here.
Word.
I just take shots out of the Lester Wave shot glass. You feel me?
You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, you got to send that link after this, though. Real talk.
Oh hell yeah, definitely got you.
But yeah, before I got distracted, but yeah, that's definitely I don't know, man. Like the thing about the social media and everything too is like I feel like it even got to like because you mentioned in the Twitter and stuff. I feel like it even got to a point where like we as humans weren't even supposed to get to that point. You know what I mean? Like I kind of feel like we've kind of passed the point of the things that we're like the levels that we're pushing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
I feel like that's one of them because like it's so easy to be in somebody's head, you know what I mean? And it's like what you were saying, people don't look at it that way, but that's what it is, especially like when people are on Facebook and stuff, like you're literally just spilling your guts. Like you might not feel like you are, you know what I mean? But you're spilling your guts. You letting people know what triggers you. You letting people, you letting people know everything. And
everything about you.
I'm not saying that it's whatever, because, what are they going to do with that? Nothing. They're going to read it. They entertain themselves, and that's it. If you don't give it no energy, it don't matter. But it's just a crazy concept to me. You know what I mean? Like that back in the day, one person might have known what that person's thinking. Now, 1,000 people know. Mm-hmm. And that's a person that nobody even knows. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So even somebody that's known, they might tweet something in the morning. Somebody like Kanye might tweet, and when you do the final count, 1 billion people might have read that tweet. You know what I mean? Like, should 1 billion people know what one person's thinking?
But I think this is my personal issue, and I had like a whole heart-to-heart earlier today, and I'm glad we're talking about this because I want to get it off. But my issue is like when it's gotten to the point now that people don't even think what they're really thinking or say what they're really thinking. They say what's gonna get them likes. They say what's gonna get them attention. They say what's gonna get them engagement. And it's like, now you forgot. Not only have you forgot how to be human, but now you've forgotten how to be yourself. And I think that's where I kind of am just like really, I don't know, I have a real love-hate relationship with social media because I love being aware of what's going on in certain aspects and certain things, but you know, I also just, the BS that comes with social media really kind of turns me off.
Yo, it's funny that you say that because I had a Facebook memory pop up recently, like in the last couple of days, where I had wrote like a few years ago, like I was just joking, like I can't wait for the people that talk in hip slang to stop getting software updates. You know what I mean? It's like it's exactly what you said. Like, you know, people that change the slang up of how they describe how they feel about certain things, like every 6 months, just depending on what's the trendy words and stuff. It's like, bro, that's not even like, you're like exactly what you said. You're expressing your thoughts through somebody else's thoughts and ideas. Like, you're not even expressing your own original thought. Like you're online. Like, you can do whatever you want. This is your space, you know?
Yeah, it trips me out, man. It really does. And like, I think that's kind of where I'm drawing the line, I guess you could say, where, you know, I wasn't really, you know, obviously Instagram, Facebook, all these social media platforms, they've started to offer like, you know, the mute button, the, you know, you want to see this, blah, blah, blah. And I never really thought too deep into it, but now I'm at a place where I'm like, yeah, man, certain things got to just get turned off. So I curate this that it works for me, because if it doesn't work for me, it's not working. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and why let things that influence you negatively be in your face all day when you have the control over it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, you know, even something so simple like when I first downloaded TikTok, I'm like, bro, this is so, I didn't like it. But then my boy Freddie, that he does a lot of the content for me and helps me with a lot of the promo and stuff, he's like, bro, you can make it whatever you want. If you want to see video game videos, you know, put that you like video games and follow those type of accounts. If you want to see sports, whatever. And that's what I started doing. And now when I pull it up, it's Warzone clips. You know what I mean? It's basketball clips. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the kind of stuff that I want to see, and I actually get lost in it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like just curating stuff to like your vibe. Like, that's why I always find it funny too. Like when people, you know, give you an update of like how many people they've deleted off their page, or like make a big announcement of like, you know, it's like they're entering a new season, so they have to let you know and announce it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, we're all creating our own space here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just create it and live in it. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, just do it. You know, you don't owe nobody explanation. You don't gotta feel like you justifying or whatever it is. Like,
that's what I think I've done well with my Instagram feed. So, you know, one thing we talked about with social media breaks, I took a social media break literally on New Year's Day of this year. And I said I was gonna go 6 months to June 1st, and I came back like a week early because my boy was here for Memorial Day, and I wanted to just capture that shit on Instagram and reel. That's when I made like my first reel ever. But during those 6 months, I saw how like I wasn't influenced by anything except what I chose to look at or look up or look for. You know, I meant to disable my Twitter. I deleted it, and that was like my fourth Twitter with like over 500 followers, very active. It's gone forever. I deleted my Facebook. I brought that back recently for literally for the podcast. And then I got Instagram, and it's just like I'm not in love with it how I was. I post in the story all the time, but I used to post like a post like every day or for something, you know. And I used to post myself like in it all the time. And that's how it changed my usage of it. But I feel like because of the generation that we live in, and the time we live in, that's the only way to keep up with certain friends and family. And I feel there's a huge disconnect if I don't have, especially Facebook, because that's where all my like my parents' side of the family and everybody in like Peru and California, like that's what they use all the time. Like without that, I feel super disconnected to them. And it's unfortunate that I need Facebook for that, but you know, that's one of the things that I do benefit of having social media. So it's a give and take for sure.
But that's the positive in social media, that where it all started was the essence of connecting people. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the initial, you know what I'm saying, attack at social media. It just became what it is over time. You know what I'm saying? So like, go ahead.
I was
go ahead.
gonna say, and that kind of even brings into in the vision like how we are getting older, because you know, people that are younger now, they don't know the time when you actually went online, like back when social media first was like really introduced and people were first on it, that it was really just like a dope place to hang out. People, nobody had rules for it yet. Nobody even really knew what we was doing. So you genuinely enjoyed seeing stuff because it was the first time you were seeing that kind of stuff. There was no algorithm. There was no nothing. It was just, everything was just based off of the order it was posted in, you know what I'm saying? So like the newest thing was on top of the feed, the oldest thing was on the bottom every time. That's it.
And nobody was talking about it anymore.
And like on MySpace, you can make bulletin posts where people go to your page and it'll be like a post that's pinned basically on your page. And it was, like I said, it was just a time where people were just being free with it because they didn't have the expectation yet. You know, it was just like, you know, like
there were no standards about how many followers to following ratio you should have, or the kind of things you post, or
like
kind
that
of
was
pictures
time,
you post.
That was the time when celebrity was interacting with everybody because they, you know, it was just dope. You know what I'm saying? You could go on Twitter and hit up a celebrity and more than likely you're getting a response. Like now it's a crazy thing and people make it a big deal if they get reposted or somebody even responds to them or something.
Yeah, like the repost of a celebrity liking their picture.
Yep, and then it's like, you know, it's changed so much now and it's kind of lost that, you know, little essence and, you know, the innocence that it used to have. And but we can still create that vibe like you were saying, Joe, and like you were talking about, Quincy, like you still have the power to make it whatever you want it to be. You know what I mean? You don't have to introduce the chaos. You don't have to make that a part of what you're doing.
You don't have to follow somebody because you knew them for 20 years. If you don't like what the fuck they post, don't follow them.
Exactly.
And that you don't owe nobody nothing. You haven't seen motherfucking 20 years.
And let me, and then to kind of like put a button on it, that goes back to what I was saying, of the little things that you do, the little decisions you make become bigger things down the line. You know what I'm saying? Something as simple as recognizing this isn't, you know, this isn't good for me, it's not feeding me or whatever. And maybe you say, I feel bad, I'm not gonna, you know, unfriend them or, you know, mute them or whatever the case is. And then you let that thing linger and fester. Maybe that person hits you up and then now you're, you know, falling back into an old thing that you knew you shouldn't have fell back in. Like it all starts with something so innocent, and it's all about making sure you're curating your life and making sure you're making those tough decisions. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's always what ruins stuff for people. Like that's the simplest thing I can see for people that have a lot of bad things going on, quote unquote unlucky. It's like, but you never take any initiative and just power through things. Like that's the one thing that you're not doing that everybody else is doing. Like if you don't understand that you got to work for it and you just got to do your thing and then the success will come, like you're never going to get it.
That's real. That's a good little point right there.
Yeah, facts. Real quick before we get off, shout out to Lou, previous guest on the podcast. Got these new headphones. I got them.
Oh, that's right. I've been staring at those Johns.
Yep, I got them. Look at it. They got the nice little velvet on the inside. Oh, baby. I've been
using velvet? Yeah, that's a velvet.
Yeah, I've been like trying to get into more mixing my music just so I can be more consistent with dropping stuff and just be more like have less excuses, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I gotta wait for this. And not saying that the people I work with take long, it's just a money thing, you know what I'm saying? It's expensive to do this and you can't just be shelling out, you know, all this money all the time and doing stuff the way you want to. Like you gotta take it into your own hands at a certain point, you know what I mean? And shout out to Lou, you know, the super dope engineer, and, you know, you ask him questions and he'll tell you, he's not, you know, trying to hold anything back or whatever. Like, he's good for you to get better too. So it's super dope. And I use these the last couple of days with a couple of mixes I've been working on, and I love the sound of these headphones, man.
It's dope.
What's up?
Yeah, bro.
We all upgrading our shit, man. I'm about to buy some new speakers. I want to hear music better. Yeah. I want to increase the quality of my output, so I got to increase the quality of my input. Like that's how I look at everything.
Facts. And honestly, bro, it kind of sounds like we're all at the same point, and it's a good thing to kind of end it with is like we just all got to keep powering through those things that we're in the stage of. You know what I mean?
Where you're uncomfortable with.
Exactly. Push through that uncomfortable stage. And man, anybody out there listening, if you in that stage, push through, because you're gonna get your hands dirty, but somebody gonna hand you a towel at the end. You heard me?